many other cities, began to epitomize this sort of end-of-the-world situation. Street after street after street full of abandoned houses or empty lots and wild dogs and all of that stuff. But an ark was something different.
I had just heard, in passing multiple times since I've come to Newark that in the 80s there was a woman who built an ark. It was all vacant lots, and so from blocks away you could see the ark rising up.
And I remember as a little girl walking through the neighborhood and I saw this big ark. I remember it just being big. It was huge. It was huge, and it just reminded me of Noah's Ark.
What do you want a picture of this for?
Listen, the builder of the ark has to be in the picture.
What are these? I made full-scale drawings. So each yellow line is a frame.
Can you imagine one person single-handedly building this ark? And what she had been was a demolition contractor working for the city of Newark.
When they wanted the building tore down, the contract would be that I would take it to ground level and they would backfill the hole. I would pack the building up and bring it home.
And she just had this vision. She wanted to build an ark on the highest point in Newark.
Sharpe James was elected mayor in 1986. Once he came on, Sharpe did have a focus on improving the image of the city. So there were things like, like this ark business. It was an eyesore, it was illegal, it was on land that could be used for more development.
The city wanted it torn down. I think it's at once very moving and kind of poetic that she did it herself. She gathered all of this material, built up an ark, and then she slowly took it apart, and that material sort of went back out into circulation.
She was this sort of larger-than-life and kind of mythic character. That having been said, she was a real person. She wanted to be known as a woman and lived as a woman. And if you look at the years of her birth and the decades that she lived through, that was an act of incredible bravery.
To me, Kea was a magical, mythical being. So I like being around people who have that kind of energy. I had heard about the Ark, of course. I actually never saw the Ark, though. By the time I met her, that had been torn down. She helped me out because I hired her to tar my roof. So she was around a long time doing that. And I decided to make her my studio assistant. She taught me so much. She taught me that I could make anything out of anything, and I do that now.
In her later life, there's this sense of this kind of restless creativity. She built radios, she created stained glass windows. There's just this kind of boundless determination to create objects and create meaning. She was kind of an archivist. It's a form of non-institutional archiving. It's very personal and idiosyncratic. Each of these bundles is this amazing, evocative combination of found photographs, paper ephemera, things that she collected that are of the time and place where she was.
Her work, I think, reminds us that we always should be open to voices from outside, voices that are running against the current, cutting against the grain. A vision that might be viewed as eccentric by some is visionary, in other ways.
I'm building it because nothing else on land seems to be safe anymore. I can't change what's going on. I can't stop it. So if I have the ability, I'll simply step aside and get out of its way.